I move to open the Marshfield Conservation Commission meeting of Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. May I have a second?
Second?
Roll call vote.
No.
Jesse?
Bessie Platt, yes.
Susan?
Susan Karen, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Corey Miles, yes.
Craig Hanafin, yes. Okay, we are in hybrid mode. We do have a commissioner attending remotely, so we will do all votes by roll call. Minutes. Did we have minutes?
Yes, let me just pull out the minutes that were sent out for review. Oh, Jack, do you mind turning on the town hall video, please? Yes, apparently it's not on. Sorry about that.
While we're getting the minute dates here, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday and a prosperous new year.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
And I will note now that both of our business items are tabled. So we will not be hearing those.
And the meeting minutes for approval are the November 15th minutes, the November 1st minutes, and the October 18th minutes.
Okay.
And those are as written, not as edited.
Okay, did anyone have any edits or comments on those minutes?
Not that I received.
Okay. In that case, I move to approve the minutes for October 18th, November 1st, and November 15th as written. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh,
Roll call.
Roll call.
hardwired. Susan?
Susan Karen, yes.
John?
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert?
O'Donnell, yes.
Corey
Corey.
Miles, yes.
Jesse?
Bessie Platt, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. Okay. Our first hearing is Marshfield Beaches. I will read the legal notice. In compliance with the regulations of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Code of the Town of Marshfield, Chapter 294, Wetlands Protection, a public hearing will be held by the Marshfield Conservation Commission on Wednesday, December 20th, to consider the request for determination of applicability filed by the Town of Marshfield Beaches. And the hearing officer is Vice Chair O'Donnell.
Am I confirming that, are the fees waived because it's a town
Yes, the fees were waived because this is a town project.
and notification was made?
Yes, the legal ad went out. The abutter notifications were not applicable since this is an
Not
RDA.
required. Understood, thank you. Are you presenting this?
Yeah, I can present this.
Okay.
So this project was previously permitted for the same, a very similar scope of work under an RDA, which is during the off-season, the wind blows over the dunes, foot traffic and wind carry the sand from around the pathways into the parking lot, and kind of create just piles of sand and sediment there in the lot. So this would be to push the sand back onto the trails in which they came off of, and additionally, different from the last RDA to permit the scope of work, they want to place a lifeguard stand seasonally out on the beach, and the access for that is noted in this RDA as well. We've also sent out the RDA for the review by NHESP, so that they can give any time of year constraints, any recommendations regarding plovers in that area. But yes.
Okay, have we received a response on that yet?
We have not received a response yet on that. Liz, have we received a response yet? To my knowledge, we have not received a response.
No, not yet.
Should we continue it for that reason? Would you recommend that, or?
It's not a
or
bad
just make
idea.
it sub- what do you think?
I think, yeah, I think the date is, for the plovers, is April 1st.
It is
nothing
April
after.
1st.
But on, oh, here comes Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Hi, sorry, that was gonna be close to 7.
Come on up to the hot seat if you'd like.
How's everybody tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So,
So we just started on this.
Okay. So we've done this previously, I've come before you. But last year we had problems with the state, so want to make sure we got the permit again. So, in the spring, we're gonna ask the state if we can do it after April 1st. We tend to do it about the third week of April, is move the sand that's migrated into the parking lot back up and over. And literally it goes boom, right over. We're not bringing it up and down the beach at all. And then before the end of May, we'll be bringing the lifeguard stand in, that's the red line, and bringing it from the parking lot up the beach. So those are the two things that we'll be doing.
Commissioners, have any questions or comments?
Seems straightforward.
Okay, what we were just discussing when you came in, Cindy, was we haven't received anything back from Natural Heritage. We're wondering if we should continue
We,
that letter, or?
I'm trying to think if Liz applied already. I think we put
I
the
emailed
application-
them.
yeah, we
Yeah,
emailed it to
we
them.
emailed it, so, but I still need the permit from you to move the material and stuff, and then it's up to them whether or not I can do it after the April 1st date. And I think we do that with a monitor is usually allowed, from what I'm told.
Yeah.
Could we approve it subject to Natural Heritage?
Yeah, I think we can. I just have a question. Is NHESP the body that says whether you can or cannot go in after April 1st?
Correct,
Okay.
correct,
And was that part of our request to them?
yes.
Typically, typically the NHESP can condition also that the work is done outside or within that time of year constraint if a monitor is present to look for any shorebird activity. That's basically what we're anticipating that they give us for feedback,
Okay.
but it hasn't been given yet.
Right.
So you can actually move the sand right within the boundaries of your snow fencing, those three trails going up?
Correct. That's where the sand always goes, just right out in front, because as you know, with the storms over the winter, it kind of eats out away at the front of the paths. So you need it right back in front of the paths. So,
I've got nothing further. No commissioners? Anybody from the public, any comments? I hear none, so, do we just want to make a motion to,
I think if we just make a motion to approve, subject to the NHESP
right,
conditions.
right.
so I would,
Oh,
yeah, Mike?
I believe I captured that in my suggested conditions as well, if you'd like me to read them off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ensure best management practices are followed before commencing the work. Obtain all pertinent permits. See conservation administrator or agent for guidance on conservation permits for work beyond the approved work activities. And observe all time of year constraints and guidance as outlined by NHESP. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the RDA, subject to those conditions, and it would be a positive number 5 and a negative number 3. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Susan Karen, roll call vote. Susan,
Susan Karen, yes.
John,
John O'Donnell, yes?
Craig,
Craig Hanafin, yes?
Corey,
Corey Miles, yes.
and Jesse?
Jesse Platt, yes.
And Bert O'Donnell, yes. It's unanimous vote.
Perfect.
Thank you, Cindy.
Excellent, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Same to you. Okay. Next, we have the Recreational Trails Committee. Come on up, Ned. This is a continued hearing, so there is no legal ad. Do you want to present what we have now?
Yeah, so, thank you, everyone, for coming. It's good to be here again. And thanks with DPW and Mike and Liz. We have a nice updated plan that shows the layout of the pathway, basically from the substation, the fire hydrant at the South River substation, to stopping at the first entrance to the Pratt. On the plan, it shows it's going to Willow Street, but actually it'll stop somewhat short of that because we're going in on the first entrance to the Pratt Farm. They have a horseshoe-shaped driveway. We'll hit the first entrance. That gets us there quicker, and that's what we'd like to do. Using stone dust as the base for the walkway, which Wylands Trust, one of the comments was it would create a safer travel along the road there, and that was an important piece. And the safety officer has concurred again that his support for the project.
Okay. Do you have comments, Mike?
Yes. Additionally, Eric Boyer from Wildlands Trust gave his support for this project as well via email. Additionally, this path has been staked by the DPW. Agent Anoya and myself visited the property last week with the town engineers, Matt Kimlin and Rod Procaccino. One thing to note is that the trail in some areas does hug the wetlands, essentially. It follows the contours of the wetlands there on the property, and as were flagged and noted in the site plan under the noted wetland flags. So while this does get very close to the resource area in some places, is kind of the best spot to put it. It's not on the embankment, so it can't erode the embankment up onto the road, and it's kind of at the base of the gradient there. And then Rod Procaccino also suggested they may put some trap rock along the edge of the road, just kind of to deter people from walking on the shoulder any further, and to use the trail and prevent washout from any splashing from the road or things of that nature.
Okay. Yeah, it gives me pause to see that it's right up against the wetland in a number of places there. However, Eric Boyer did seem to approve that. So, do you know how wide it's going to be? Is it?
It looks like, so the Wildlands Trust allows up to 6 feet width without going back to them for special blessings. We're looking at right now up to 5 feet.
Okay. And this is going to be stone dust.
Yes.
So what is going to be entailed in maintaining it?
Essentially, it'll be very similar to what we have out there on the bridle path and the rail trail, and it's foot traffic basically that's doing it. That area was graded. The stone dust was placed down. It was packed down. Took a couple of weeks for that to solidify. And that's been, I think, four years now, and we haven't done anything to any extraordinary maintenance to it. I suspect this would be the same thing through people walking or jogging or running. It would be a small footprint that would be maintained that way. Would use our trail ambassadors, visit it like we visit every other site in town, and if there's any little cutting to do, then we would perform that, letting Mike and Liz know, before we do it, to make sure that where we're cutting is where we're supposed to be cutting, not where we're not supposed to be cutting.
And there's a lot of poison ivy, isn't there? Along the,
There could be. I haven't.
There is certainly a lot of poison ivy on that embankment there.
and, yeah, I mean,
That'll keep them on the path.
well, I was going to say that'll keep the path narrow, but, there's no way any herbicide or anything could be used on that in this situation.
Yeah,
So,
We've never used anywhere that we've gone in
Okay.
town.
now this is a scenic roadway, so I'm a little concerned because this is an RDA, there's no abutter notification. So I'd like to know what it's actually going to look like. Is there going to be a guardrail? What's the trap rock appearance going to be? And is this going to involve any tree cutting of an 8-inch diameter or greater tree?
So there's some selective cutting. I'm not sure on how great a diameter.
they were engineers had planned it out so that it was going to be in the least invasive way possible. So mostly trees, very short diameter. I believe there are 1 or 2 trees of greater than 6-inch diameter that need to be cut.
Because because it's a scenic road, that needs planning board approval.
Okay.
So that needs to be addressed. We need an inventory of possibly trees that were, I think it has to be 8 inches, but we need to be on top of that. And if there are trees that large, then you will have to go to the planning board.
Okay.
We're definitely going to need conservation markers all along that inner edge. Okay, those are some of my issues. Are there other commissioners who have any comments about this?
I just have one question. Ned, is the stone dust going to be at grade with the wetland, or is there any, my concern is any erosion of the stone dust into the wetland.
Sure.
How is that going to be addressed, or does
Mike?
it look like it's a concern, Mike, when you were there? I know there's a
In the
wetland-
areas where it is very close to the wetland, perhaps something like a landscape tie or railroad tie could be just placed on the ground adjacent to the path to help keep some of that material on the path. But that has not been addressed in these engineered site plans or as of yet in the project.
Yeah, that would be something I would think about, because we deal with that at the park a lot. A lot of it, we have washout of the stone dust well, actually you help take care of it. Some areas where it doesn't stay within its confines, but we just have it, at grade. So just something that they might want to address and look at, because in some areas there, I'm sure there will be slight grade changes. I would imagine that. I'm not looking at it at the moment. So that would be something I would just want to see addressed in the
Sure.
final plan.
Right.
Any other commissioner comment?
Just to understand, Ned, where you're talking about the trap rock, that would be between the road and the path, not between the path and the wetland, right?
Correct, the road and the path for the trap rock?
Yeah, that would, it would be essentially on the current shoulder of the road.
Okay,
And
so the
then
path
the
is gonna
path would be
be
down
pretty
gradient.
much at the existing grade.
Yeah, it'll essentially be at the existing grade at the bottom of that slope. So like off the edge of the road.
Hey,
And then-
Mike, it's Liz.
Hey, Liz.
I think that we were gonna try to keep some of that shoulder grade naturally vegetated, so they didn't have to do a lot of trap rock there. When we walked
Right.
abroad, I thought there was gonna be, where it kind of was a slope, that they were gonna keep it naturally
Yeah,
vegetated, and
they
it was
will-
just gonna be at the bottom of the slope.
They will keep the slope itself naturally vegetated. From my recollection, they would put trap rock towards the top of the slope in some areas,
Okay.
just to prevent the. Rod was talking to us about an issue where the cars drive past this area where there's a storm drain, and it splashes water over the side and erodes kind of the side of the hill that they just cut out. So in that area, they'd put trap rock there to kind of dissipate some of that water. But yeah, they will keep the slope up to the road from the path naturally vegetated. Thank you for clarifying, Liz.
So between the road and the path, it will remain naturally vegetated as much as possible, but there will be some areas that need trap rock?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Anyone else? Anybody in the audience? Anyone from the public on Zoom? Okay. So going forward, I think we need a more definitive plan. We need to find out about the tree cutting and whether or not this has to go through the planning board. So that would require, walking the edge there and taking an inventory of 8-inch diameter potential trees that need to come down. I'd like to know where the trap rock will most likely have to be. And I'd like to know what the guardrail is going to look like. I'd like to know the exact width of the path so that we can determine if we can maybe shave it down a little or if it's going to be okay at 5 feet. And ultimately, we would need conservation markers on this plan. I would say every maybe 30 feet.
Yeah, 30 feet seems fair.
So we're going to have to continue this to settle some of these things.
So, what question regarding the guardrail, we hadn't proposed, what are your thoughts?
Is
on
there
that?
is there going to be a guardrail?
We
Or-
hadn't proposed,
I don't.
You didn't
believe so.
propose one?
no.
And is that considered safe?
Well, in the discussions with Wildlands Trust, we never mentioned a guardrail.
Okay, what about, don't we have a safety officer who reviewed this?
Yeah, correct, yeah, Jason Lucetti, he didn't.
He did not have any issues with this being open to the road?
No.
Okay,
He was just happy he was getting people more away from the road.
away from the road, okay.
That was his big concern.
It would seem to be, will be safer
Than it is now. Okay. And there's no stone walls involved, are there?
No.
No. Okay, so let's get a plan which shows where trap rock will be required, that shows conservation markers, that shows the width of the path, and let's get a tree inventory to determine if you need, if this needs to go to the
Sure.
planning board.
If everything we look at is less than 8 inches, then it will not require a planning board? Is that? I hear that
That's my understanding.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Sure.
okay. So, maybe even if there are a few larger trees, they could be left alone to
Okay.
avoid having to run through that hoop.
Sure. All right, that's something I'll look to coordinate with Michael and Liz.
Yeah.
I'll walk out there
And
to make
go
sure
out and
we.
take a look, and I may join you when you do that.
Yeah, I will also mention that the DPW staked the width of the trail in a few places, so it's every 50 feet or so they have a set of stakes.
Okay,
and it kind of
so I can
determines
see the
the
width.
flow of the trail. So I encourage any commissioner interested to walk it,
Go out and have a look.
or we can even schedule something too.
Okay, that's good. All right, I move that we continue this to, do you want to pick a date? I think the next meeting is
January.
January 3rd and then January 17th.
That's correct.
Probably the 17th, I think.
17th.
Yeah, that would give us more time to
Yeah.
get
Okay.
everyone out
And
there,
we
take
can
a
all
look.
see it.
Yeah,
And-
yeah,
Yeah, you folks get out there too,
Yeah.
take a
yeah,
look.
that'd be great.
Okay, I move to continue RDA 2312 to January 17th. May I have a second?
Second?
Okay, roll call vote. Susan?
Susan Karen, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes?
Bernard O'Donnell, yes.
Corey Miles, yes.
Jesse Platt, yes.
And Craig Hannafin, yes. Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks,
All
Ned.
right, thank you very much.
And now we are on 3 South Street. This is a continued hearing, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So, this is a deck replacement at 3 South Street. I am the hearing officer, and I think everything has been confirmed when we opened this back in July, was it? So, is someone here to present this?
Mary, I see you on Zoom. Would you like to present this?
Here I am.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Mary Russo. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So, I think, we have the plan here, and my question is, what are the footings, what have you decided on for the footings?
We decided on the helicums.
You're gonna use the helical piles?
Right, and the reason it took so long is I was really perplexed because we wanted to go with the sonotube, but the engineer thought this would be the best way to go. And then when I priced them out, I was really concerned because on the internet it said 3,000 a footing, and I thought of the footings being $27,000 because I need 9 of them. So I had to really research before I made a decision because I didn't want to go into it not having the wherewithal to do it.
Sure.
I am very happy with what I have found out. I have someone that does helicums. I've never heard of the word helicum before this all started. So I'm happy to say we are going that route.
Okay. Do you have comments, Mike?
Yep, helical piles in this area would be acceptable. This was spurred by the seawall being replaced and being 3 feet higher. So in order to see up over the seawall, the deck is also being elevated.
I have just a couple of questions. What are the footings for the staircase going to be?
They're going to be just the regular sonotube footings.
Is that acceptable in,
As long as there's no footing, so as long as it's just a straight
a straight
sonotube.
sonotube?
Yes.
Okay. And it's hard to tell from the drawings, but I believe the staircase needs open risers.
I believe so in
You
this
do know
area.
that, yes.
Okay, so that's, because I couldn't tell from the plan.
I know, it's so small.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not just that it's small, it's, I don't have the detail on that. But because of where you are, water's gotta be able to flush through that staircase.
Stan.
Are there any other commissioner comments?
Liz, do you have any additional comments? I know you worked with Mary extensively on this one.
Nope, it's all covered.
Okay, and the staircase risers are open and,
Yep, as far
Yep.
as I know, they're open.
okay,
And I think, Mary, your contractor knows that as well. Or just reiterate that to them when they are building it, that the stair risers have to be open.
yeah.
Yes, I understand that, and we'll make sure they are open.
Okay,
And the plan, I had a big plan for the actual site. The site plan, it was on the large paper, the large architectural paper.
I have that here.
Yes, that one has that. But the one that was the deck design by Rockwell, that is the small.
Right, yep.
I understand why you have a hard time.
Yeah,
seeing-
no, I have it all here, but sometimes they're easier to read than others. Okay, so this plan that I have, which is dated June 14th, specifies the deck is on sonotubes. So that's going to need to be updated unless there is a newer version that I did not see.
I believe there is a newer version. We have a version, the one that I'm looking at on the screen right now is the one with helical piles.
Does that have helical piles on it?
Yeah,
But that's the architectural drawing, right?
yes.
You mean the one from Rick Servant?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I think he might have given us an update, but
well,
if he did not, I can have him change it. That's not.
We have two sets of plans. One for the site that was done by Steinbeck and Taylor.
mm-hmm,
Second plan for the deck design, which was done by Rockwell.
right, okay.
So that's why you see two different plans there, because I needed one for the site and one for the deck.
Okay, yep,
That's why I needed the two, according to the building department.
So I believe
right.
We do need an updated site plan.
We
that
need-
Rick Servant.
We need the site plan, if it has not already been updated, I need the site plan to be updated because the one I have says proposed deck on sonotubes, and that's no longer accurate. It's gonna be helical piles.
And we should also capture that the landing will be on sonotubes.
And the landing on
Because
sonotubes,
the architectural plan describes the landing at the bottom of the staircase to be on helicals as well. So
right,
there's some conflicting information between these
conflicting
plans.
information. So we just need, and Rick is not here tonight,
No.
but
Can I ask a question?
sure.
If the whole deck was on sonotubes, would you approve that?
If they don't have any footings.
As long as there are no footings at the bottom of the sonotube, yes. But I think helical piles are a better solution here.
Yes, concrete can scour
Can
in this
scour
type of
around
environment,
the
even if there
tubes.
is no footing underneath. So,
Yeah,
having a helical pile or a diamond pier footing would be the best option for longevity of the structure.
but technically, I think, yeah, we would have approved sonotubes, but I think the preference is for the helical piles.
Well, there's a difference in cost, that's why I ask it. And when you go back, or when I go back to the site plan that has the sonotubes on it, they're gonna have to do over that whole plan? Or can they just do the sonotube part?
Oh, they can just tweak that. They don't have to do a new plan.
Rick can just change
Yeah.
the words on it to
We-
say helical pile.
We
Yeah.
do
He'll
this
change
all
his
the
notes,
time.
essentially.
Yeah,
It would be very minor edits, Mary. It wouldn't be a whole
very
new site.
small edit, yep.
Okay, that sounds good with me. See,
So,
I was surprised I was going with helicals, and then Rockwell just did it, so here I am.
okay. So, Mike, can you contact Rick in the
Yep,
morning?
No
And
problem.
I guess town hall isn't open on Friday, is it?
It is not. It is open
Because
on
typically we
Tuesday.
say if we have an updated plan by Friday.
We'd have to say by this coming Tuesday.
By
The
Tuesday.
26th.
Yeah,
That's the next time the town hall's open.
so we need that, this plan updated to reflect that it is not sonotubes, it's helical piles. Do any other commissioner comments?
I just have one thing to say, if I may.
Sure.
If it's going to be by this Tuesday, where it's the holiday and everything, do you think that's feasible to do?
Oh, yeah, it's very simple for them to go in and make that change.
Yeah, because there were times I had to wait 3 months for something to happen.
Yeah,
with-
no, this is a different situation. They can, I don't know exactly how they do it, but I think they just go online and make small changes and print a new copy.
Okay.
We
Now,
often
so
have plans that get
it's fine
changed.
that the engineer doesn't sign it as long as they put a drawing there to update it, right? Or does he have to go and sign that individual?
It should be signed and stamped.
It'll be signed and stamped by Rick.
Yeah.
So you're not, Mary, it's Liz. You're not changing anything on the Rockwood plan. You're only updating the Rick Servant plan.
Yeah, sign it.
And I'll call him in the morning and explain it to him.
Okay, right.
He'll know. We
Yeah.
often have very small updates like this on plans when we are, at the hearing. Is there any comment from the public? Okay. Special conditions, Mike?
I would suggest the following special conditions. General conditions 1 through 18. Prior to construction, conditions 5 and 2. During construction, condition 11. After construction, condition 1. Erosion control, condition 1. And then elevation certificate. So you'll need to provide an elevation certificate at the end of this project.
Okay. In that case, I move that we vote to approve this NOI with the special conditions just noted by Mr. Seeley. May I have a second?
Second?
Corey? Roll call vote.
Oh, Corey Miles, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes?
Susan Karen, yes.
Jesse?
Jesse Clark, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. So you are all set. Liz will speak to Rick in the morning, and your orders of conditions will be issued, and you are good to go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Have happy holiday.
And to you too.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna read the continuations. We have 3. First being, 32 Carolyn Circle. This was opened at the last hearing, but has now, that was for town bylaw only. They're now also including the state, and we lack that DEP number. So I move that we continue 32 Carolyn Circle to January 3rd. May I have a second?
Second.
Susan?
Susan Karen, yes?
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Corey Miles, yes.
Jesse Platt, yes.
And Craig Hannafin, yes. 0 Main Street was voted continued to January 17th at the last meeting. Do we have to vote on this to continue every meeting once we vote it out?
If it was voted to be continued that one
Okay,
time.
then we're done on that.
Yes.
For now, okay. And we also, what's the other continuation?
I believe that's it.
Just those 2, right?
You got it?
Yes. Correct, Liz? Just those 2? 2 Morse projects?
Yes, just those 2.
Yep.
Okay. All right, those are the continuations. Now we have certificate of compliance. The first is 1 Atlantic Avenue. This project has satisfied our orders of conditions. However, there are a number of outstanding problems with zoning and building. This property does not have a certificate of occupancy, and there is a special permit or land court decision that is not confirmed to have been met. Pardon me? I am. Do you want to come up here so I can hear you? Are you the homeowner?
Mark and Jan Tedeschi. We used to own the house when this whole thing happened.
Hi.
Yeah, Mike Clancy was the building inspector at the time,
Uh-huh.
and we had a personality challenge, and he ended up suing me. I made my shed too big, I did something in the basement I wasn't supposed to, and he was just really being confrontational, and I wasn't in the mood for him, so I ended up asking him to leave. We eventually settled everything, we have a certificate of occupancy, town council got involved, I had to cut 4 feet off the shed to make it
Yep.
64 square feet instead of the 96 that it was. I had to do a few other things. We couldn't have conveyed the house without the certificate of occupancy. We have it. That whole nightmare in court went away. Bob Galvin got involved, and all got settled. So I don't know.
Well, Andrew Stewart, who is now the
Yep.
building commissioner, here's his comment, okay? Some of the issues were the shed was bigger than 8 by 8. The finished basement walls needed to be removed with only a utility area to remain.
Yeah, that was,
The stairs could remain.
yep, it was all done.
Only electrical fixtures and lighting required for safety and basic function could remain. And the finished floor could remain, provided it was a flood damage resistant floor. Okay? Then he said there was a 5 by 5 foot bulkhead that was to be removed and replaced with a traditional bulkhead.
Andrews? I never.
Well,
even-
this is the comments he gave us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that has been replaced. And the
Okay.
The clamshell is there.
The shed is done. And prior to issuance of an occupancy certificate, an as-built certifying the conditions meet the ZBA special permit conditions was to be submitted.
Okay, I'm sure that was done by my engineer and my attorney, because we closed and sold the property in 2017.
Right, so that would have to have
That
been
would
in.
have to have transpired, it wouldn't have conveyed.
So he further goes on to say, to date, this property has never received a certificate of occupancy and has not fulfilled the conditions of the special permits or land court decision.
Okay, that was, Bob Galvin got involved in this with
Okay.
Captain Buncey, the attorney in Plymouth. That was all put to bed before closing.
He says the last inspection that was performed at this property was December 24th, 2013.
Okay.
And the building inspector stated that there was improvement required.
Okay.
So there is some kind of a
Mike Clancy
miscommunication.
may not have been filling out his notes before he left.
Yeah.
But trust me when I say, we were put under a microscope like you would not believe.
Yeah, I can see there was a lot going on
I will
here.
never, ever, it doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, right, that's history.
Yeah.
Well, you need to get in touch with Andrew Stewart.
Well, didn't you say, as far as the order of conditions, we're all set with you?
You,
There's potentially a structure underneath the flood elevation, since there's no record of a. Andrew has not said that there was a record of any inspection being made below the home to ensure that those walls were removed. So he conveyed to me that he needs to go
Well,
and do a final
then
inspection.
He's gotta go check his notes again, because Mike Clancy was ordered by town council to put this whole thing to bed before our closing. We almost didn't make the closing. I remember when we came down, I didn't even want to be there when he was there. He came, everything was signed off, and we closed without an issue, except for the conservation holdback of $20,000 that has been sitting in a bank account at Delaney and Muncie, collecting zero interest since November of 2017. So without your release of order conditions, that money just stays there and I can't get it. And it's. I
where,
can own
where
the
is
home.
that money?
It's in an escrow, non-interest bearing escrow account that's being held by Delaney and Muncie, the attorneys that closed. But because there was, an issue of, I didn't file a notice of intent for the shed. And I said, I don't have to, it's 8 by 8, it's grandfathered, it's okayed by town council, it's okayed by Mike Clancy, who didn't want to do it, but he had a big smile on his face when they sawed off 4 feet of it, so he okayed it. So, because there was no notice of intent, and there was, an issue where my paving driveway was a little bit bigger than it was supposed to be than it was shown on the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So then they said, okay, to fix all this, it's probably gonna be $4 or $5 grand, we'll take 20,000 as a holdback. And Jen and I just looked at each other and said, let's just, whatever, and we closed, and it's still there.
Okay. So clearly, something has been lost in translation.
100%.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, and
Well, I'll deal with the building department if you'd like, but I'm trying to deal with conservation tonight to get this closed.
agreed, I understand.
Sounds like Bob Galvin might have some answers on this.
As I understand it, what was the project from a conservation perspective here that, do we even, because this goes back,
I would have to pull out the file to give you a full scope of
Okay.
work there. But there was the issue about the shed. I would suggest tabling this or continuing it to the next meeting, pending more information from the building
yeah,
commissioner.
Bob Galvin.
Because also there is the question of since Andrew Stewart, the building commissioner, has said there hasn't been a certificate of occupancy or a final review. In his words, whether or not that's the case.
Okay, but what does that have to do with conservation?
There could be a structure underneath the home, which would also, which would be an issue from the conservation point of view, because then it would be a structure underneath the FEMA flood elevation. And
Okay, well, at the time, there was no structure underneath, because it was all inspected. Now, I don't know what the homeowner's done in the last 6 years, it's his house. So if there is something going on, I don't care what he's done down there, it's not my responsibility. So it shouldn't preclude you guys from closing out the order of conditions. Because at the time we conveyed, Mike Clancy went through every square inch of that property, trust me. And he gave it the stamp to go ahead. Bob Galvin was involved the whole time. I have all the paperwork, I didn't bring it because I didn't think it was necessary, but I still have the file. So, you know, I'm not responsible for what the homeowner's done since 2017.
No, I understand that. But given the complete
Craziness of this?
craziness of this,
Right.
I have to tell you that it is the prudent move for us to say, we're gonna table this until the 1st of January. In the meantime, I will speak with Bob Galvin. I recommend that you speak with Andrew Stewart. And we-
But I can't get him to go to a house that I don't own, and I don't know what's been done
Right.
to it. So that's like, that's just barking up the wrong tree. It's not gonna happen.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
The prior commissioner, conservation commissioner, you and I met with him, you can help make sure my recollection is correct.
Yeah.
And we tried to deal with it then. And he came, some of this information I've never heard, to be honest with you, so I don't know where some of these notes came from, to be, honestly, I'm.
Right, I understand, you're shocked.
You know, and then he added something else on it that had nothing to do, that you haven't even mentioned, so.
Yeah.
Something is,
No,
awry.
he's got, the agreement for judgment for land court, docket number, blah, 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 resolved some of these issues. You know, hey,
But again, whether Andrew wants to go in and look at the basement or not, I don't know what's down there, and frankly, I don't even care. 'Cause I know at the time I sold it, it was clear. So putting it until January 1st, we're snowbirds, we're out of here right after Christmas. You know, I could Zoom in from Florida, but, you know, this has been 6 years of 20 grand sitting in the bank for no reason. I wouldn't have been able to convey the house if all these things weren't met. I don't care if they had sloppy paperwork in the building department, not my problem.
I hear you, but from my perspective, I have to,
But you're the conservation committee, you're not the building, if there's a problem with the building, Andrew Stewart can take it up with the homeowner. You're not the building department, you're the conservation committee.
that's correct, but because this is such a mess,
Is there a mess in the conservation end?
I don't
Well,
know.
it's new to us tonight.
This
We
is,
just got this email
Yeah, no.
with Andrew's
We don't
comments,
even know what the
before the
project
meeting, so.
yeah, we have, I don't, that's part of the problem. I don't, that's why I want to know, what was the project?
You're gonna go to January, that's great, we'll Zoom in next time. Have a-
I'm,
So someone just needs to go out to the property and take a look at
it
it,
has to be the building commissioner or building inspector.
and,
with someone
you know,
from.
you're
Do you
telling,
think a homeowner's gonna let somebody in after 6 years? I don't know what
Well, I
he's
don't
done
have
down
to
there,
wait.
legal or
Look
not.
at it.
I certainly wouldn't let him in.
Talk to Bob
to
Galvin.
talk to Bob
He
Galvin.
has records of this.
Yeah,
That-
that
I
would be
wouldn't, I wouldn't let some guy knock on my door and say, I'm the building inspector, I wanna inspect your basement. I said, for what reason?
I will contact Bob Galvin,
Perfect.
thank you.
okay?
Could you
And-
possibly have Liz give us a call and let us know how it
Absolutely.
works
We
out?
will, after
Yeah,
after I
yeah,
talk to
obviously.
Bob, and whatever has to happen here,
This is
we will
probably gonna
most
go to January,
certainly
February, that's
contact
fine.
you.
And if we have to Zoom back, we'll,
Exactly, and hopefully it's, you know,
okay.
misunderstanding,
Yeah.
bad records, I don't know what it is, but,
I don't either, but we're all gonna find out.
We'll certainly know more than we do tonight.
yeah.
Yeah, we will.
Have a great Christmas. and
That we will.
We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you,
right.
thank
Very
you.
much.
Enjoy Florida.
Okay, so I move to table the COC SE 422199 pending further investigation. May I have a second?
I'll second this one.
Okay, Susan?
Susan Karen, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Corey Miles, yes.
Jesse?
Jesse Platt, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. Okay. And next up is SE 422998, 17 Middle Street. The home has been elevated, and everything was done according to the proposed site plans. I move that we issue a COC. May I have a second?
Second.
Go ahead.
I'll take that one.
You take it.
Corey?
Corey Miles, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Susan Karen, yes.
Jesse Platt, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. And SE 422891, 938 Summer Street. We are waiting on a site plan that will be ready by the January 3rd meeting. So I move that we table this until January 3rd. May I have a second?
Second.
Susan?
Second. Oh, Susan Karen, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Corey Miles, yes. Jesse Platt, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. And SE 422923, 162 Bay Avenue. Still issues here that are unaddressed, so I move to table this to January 3rd. May I have a second?
Second.
Susan?
Susan Karen, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Corey Miles, yes. Jesse Platt, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. And that completes our business for tonight. I move to close the meeting of the Marshfield Conservation Commission for Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. A second, please.
John O'Donnell will second.
Okay, Susan?
Susan Karen, yes.
John O'Donnell, yes.
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Corey Miles, yes. Jesse Platt, yes.
And Craig Hanafin, yes. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned. Happy holidays.